Caitlin Clark limps toward the bench, her face a tight mask that every basketball fan now recognizes. The look of someone who refuses to admit the pain has finally won. There are 16 seconds left. The Fever are up 8, and Gainbridge Fieldhouse should be basking in the lazy relief of a guaranteed win. Instead, the arena falls silent because the league's brightest comet just clutched the same left leg that has haunted her all season. One small decision sending her back in for window dressing minutes now threatens to avalanche into crisis. When Clark first sat out in early June, national TV ratings cratered almost overnight. Sports bar screens that had been glued to every pull-up, 3 quietly flipped to baseball. Sneaker shops reported a dip in replica jersey demand. Even the WNBA's social feeds suddenly felt empty. Executives remember how many sponsorship dollars evaporated during her previous layoff, while casual viewers wonder why the highlight reel seems to have lost its sparkle. But this isn't just a story about groin strains or television deals. It's about how an entire league keeps rolling the dice on a single superstar's health. Rewind the tape. The Fever inbound, Clark trots across mid-court. And as she plants to pivot her sneaker skids on fresh wax, her torso twists, the left hip jerks, and a grimace flashes before she forces the grin that launched 1,000 TikToks. Cameras catch the wince anyway. She finishes the possession purely on pride. Clark's brand of stubbornness has always been her superpower, but the next whistle brings a sideline huddle and an ice pack thicker than an Indiana tenderloin. Coach Stephanie White labels the injury day to day. Fans hear a harsher translation, "We have no idea." That phrase might have sufficed if this were an isolated tweak. It isn't. Ever since a bruising matchup with the Connecticut Sun 3 weeks earlier, Clark has looked a step slow on drives and a mile short on her rainbow threes. She bricked more than 20 straight from deep in the run-up to Seattle numbers that scream mechanical failure rather than cold shooting. Trainers whisper the same phrase every weekend Warrior dreads: compensation pattern. When one muscle quits, the rest of the body plays a desperate game of musical chairs, and nobody wins. Die-hard Fever supporters spotted the breadcrumbs early. Heavy wrap on her thigh, Monday. None on Wednesday. Angry bruises visible Friday. A strength coach's nightmare disguised as a game day routine. Yet White kept her minutes sky high because that's what superstars demand, right? Twitter dissected the decision frame by frame. Fans demanding accountability, rival bases briefly united under a single banner, protect the draw or watch the league drown. Women's basketball finally owns the global spotlight, and Clark is the wattage behind it. If your entire marketing plan starts with her jersey number, maybe you don't send her out for vanity dribbles on tired legs. The deeper irony stings even more. Clark's refusal to sit is precisely the mentality leagues celebrate in every hype montage, but it's also the mentality that ends careers. Michael Jordan played with the flu, Kobe dropped 60 on a busted finger. That mythology sells tickets. What the highlight reels omit are the veteran coaches who drew thick, protective lines. The W needs to start drawing those lines in permanent ink or risk watching its golden goose limp away. Blaming only the Fever misses a bigger culprit: the league's disappearing whistle. Coaches quietly admit the best strategy against Indiana is to hack early, hack often, and trust the officials to let contact slide. Why bother contesting with perfect verticality when you can body check the shooter and dare the ref to ruin the flow? The Connecticut game provided a masterclass in eye poke, 2 hip checks, a forearm shiver that would earn a flagrant in any other league. The replay reel dominated debate shows not because of highlight plays, but because fans wondered aloud if the W had turned into a no-rules fight club. Physicality is basketball culture. Unanswered cheap shots are malpractice. Women athletes already face a higher baseline risk of knee injuries thanks to anatomy. Add blindside blows and you're gambling with livelihoods. Jade Melbourne learned it when an elbow cost her half a tooth. Cameron Brink learned it when her ACL shredded on what should have been a routine pivot. Medical journals don't mince words. Unmanaged contact plus cumulative fatigue equals ligament time bomb. Meanwhile, the numbers remind executives that ideals aren't enough. With Clark in uniform, broadcasts flirt with NBA playoff territory. Merchandise warehouses can't restock fast enough. The night she first sat, those metrics plunged so sharply that ESPN reportedly summoned emergency slide decks before dawn. Sponsors demanded injury clauses, networks phoned agents for backup storylines, and players realized that one superstar's health now dictates the size of everyone's paycheck. That reality seeps into union negotiations scheduled for next month. Players want charter flights, a bigger salary cap, and a real slice of the revenue they generate. Their leverage is the mountain of fresh cash Clark unlocked. Remove her for a month and that leverage melts faster than an ice cube on a Vegas sidewalk. Owners have already polished the counter. Show us sustainable numbers without her. Then we'll talk payroll. Groin strains heal, that's the slogan team doctors use to calm reporters. What they skip is the cascading chaos if handled poorly. Tight adductors force hamstrings to overwork. Hamstrings tug on knee mechanics. The ACL, thin as kite string, takes the snap. Orthopedic surgeons also warn about the silent sequel, chronic instability. Even if the ligament holds, repeated micro tears leave a player chasing pain for years. Careers aren't always ended by one dramatic collapse. Sometimes they're bled dry by 1,000 small compromises reduced burst. Tentative landings, minute limits that shrink highlight reels and bargaining power alike. Picture the headline, WNBA's top attraction tears ACL in garbage time. The clip hits social media before the broadcast fades to commercial. By sunrise, the story isn't star injured, it's league negligence. Sponsors pause campaigns, casual fans drift away, and the feel-good growth narrative curdles into a cautionary tale. A decade of progress vanishes, all because a coach wanted one last meaningless possession. So here we sit at the most delicate fork the W has ever faced. Clark is officially day-to-day. A term elastic enough to cover anything from 2 nights off to season-ending surgery. The commissioner faces a brutal choice: tighten officiating and risk choppier games, or keep the river flowing and pray the golden goose never steps on a loose pebble. European clubs, meanwhile, draft 7-figure offers with private jets and lighter schedules. If the league can't promise both safety and earning power, who's to say Clark or the next generational phenom won't spend a season in Istanbul, cash a check the size of an NBA mid-level deal, and return only for endorsement shoots? There's a human layer statistics can't capture. Veterans who hustled a decade on 4-figure contracts now watch a rookie eclipse their lifetime earnings in half a season. Admiration mingles with envy, and that strange cocktail leaks onto the floor in ways the box score can't measure. A shoulder nudge here, an accidental hip check there, and the hardwood turns into a tension gauge. That tension magnifies when highlight culture rewards viral clashes as much as smooth crossovers. Clark never complains. Her quotes stay measured. It's basketball. Bumps happen. Yet teammates say she ices longer, stretches twice as thoroughly, and almost never sits during practice because cameras are always rolling. The vibe recalls Derrick Rose grinding through meaningless minutes a decade ago. Same spirit, new league, identical risk. Commentators frame every incident through clashing lenses. Traditionalists argue that rookies must earn respect by taking hits. Progressives counter that growth leagues can't afford hazing disguised as toughness. They point to the NBA's rules, protect Steph's landing zone, review every flagrant in real time, and ask why the W shouldn't offer its stars the same security. If that sounds alarmist, listen to the way 8th graders discuss career paths. Girls who once dreamed of Tennessee Orange now tape Clark-themed vision boards beside their mirrors and live stream her logo bombs on loop. Crush that pipeline of inspiration by letting heroes limp through ambushes, and the sport forfeits an entire generation of believers. No single leg should prop up an entire sport, yet here we are, balancing the future of women's basketball on Caitlin Clark's left side. The league must act before fate delivers a harsher lesson. Give her the rest she needs, rein in the cheap shot culture, teach every rookie ref that star protection isn't favoritism, it's asset management. Let fans keep the storyline they adore and let players cash the checks that come with record eyeballs. And here's the blunt reality. If the W doesn't course correct, Clark's eventual absence, whether 2 weeks or 2 seasons, will feel self-inflicted. Fans will replay every late-game shove, every frantic re-entry, and ask why short-term ratings beat common sense. They won't boycott in anger, they'll just drift away trading W streams for whatever else dominates the feed that night. Momentum, once lost, rarely stages a heroic comeback. So, make the hard choices now. Suspend reckless defenders, build rest days into the calendar, give medical staff veto power over every marquee matchup, protect the performer and the performance survives, ignore the warning lights, and no marketing budget on earth will buy back trust once it's squandered. If you care about the W's rise, smash that like button, drop a comment, and tag the league office. Because the next time Caitlin Clark bursts from the tunnel, every ticker in the building should flash the same two words: now or never.